Well, hello everyone and welcome back. So what's on tap for today? We've got another great reaction video of one of our favorite senators, Ted Cruz. This time he's grilling and questioning a Biden nominee for a judgeship. And he's questioning her in regards to her past racist comments and working for racist companies and organizations. We're going to get to all that in the next few seconds. But before we do so, if you haven't already done so, it's the first time here, subscribe to the channel. You're watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I'm the guest host for today. My name is Dr. Nasir. Hit that subscription bell, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Let us know in the comments below what you think of our reaction. Let's go to Ted Cruz right now.
For the past year and a half, we've seen a pattern from the Biden administration of nominating ideological zealots to our courts. A moment ago, Ms. Abudu, in answering questions from Senator Lee, you said you understood the difference between an advocate and a judge.
She doesn't.
Well, I'm sure you do. You've never served as a judge. You've spent your entire life as an advocate. And as an advocate on the extreme left, there has been a pattern of nominee after nominee that have been extreme zealots. But I have to say, your nomination, when I look at your record, I find deeply concerning. The last 3 years you've served at the Southern Poverty Law Center. The Southern Poverty Law Center is a hateful and extreme place.
Racist organization.
And their hate, among other things, has led to horrific violence. I'm speaking in particular about the 2012 shooting at the Family Research Council here in Washington. There, a gunman sought to make a political statement by shooting as many members of the Family Research Council as possible, and he sought to smear their faces with Chick-fil-A sandwiches after he murdered them. He was only stopped due to the heroic efforts of the Family Research Council employee, Leo Johnson, whose courage saved many lives that day.
He's a patriot.
The evidence in the case indicated that the shooter had assembled his targets by visiting the Southern Poverty Law Center website of so-called hate groups, where the Southern Poverty Law Center equated the Family Research Council with true bigoted hate groups like the KKK and the Nazi Party. Do you agree with your employer that the Family Research Council is equivalent to the KKK or the Nazi Party?
Senator Cruz, I would first respectfully state that although, yes, I have spent a big chunk of my career as a civil rights lawyer, early on in my career, I was actually a staff attorney with the 11th Circuit. So I started my career in my understanding of the legal profession from the position of being and representing the court to some extent and making
But being a staff attorney is not a judge.
Whoop-de-doo.
So could you answer the question, please?
Yeah, answer the question.
Well, in terms of the...
Do you agree with your employer that the Family Research Council is comparable to the Ku Klux Klan or the Nazi Party?
Yes or no?
Senator, as I shared with your colleagues earlier, I can't comment to that. I'm in the legal department.
Well, why can't you? I'm asking if you agree with them. You work for them. That's what they say. Their hateful rhetoric led to an attempted murder. Do you agree with them? You went to work for them knowing that their hate had led to this violence. Do you agree with that or not?
I went to work for the SPLC to help lead its voting rights practice group, and that is.
Do you agree with your employer?
Senator, again,
So you're going to refuse to answer that?
This is what happens every single freaking time, folks. These nominees come out there, they are so far left. I mean, they are so left, they're ready to fall off the edge. That's how far left they are. And they never, ever, ever, they give you every bit of verbal diarrhea that emanates from their bowels, in their stomach, up the esophagus, through the trachea, and it just comes spilling right out, the verbal diarrhea. Every single solitary time from each of these nominees that absolutely have no business being nominated whatsoever. They are not being nominated because of what they've done in the past. They're not being nominated on their expertise or their experience. They're not being nominated on their bona fides. No, they are being nominated because of intersectionality. They fall into that totem pole. They're either women, they're people of color, women of color, they're transgender, they're transvestites, they're trans whatever. They're gay, they're lesbian, they're LGBTQPIA I mean, it doesn't matter. They just, as long as they fit one of the marginalized groups, hey, put them in there. That's what's going on. And then on top of that, they're so radicalized, so far left, that they want to be activists. They are activists, and that's why they're being put up there, because as soon as they become a judge, they're not going to rule on the law. They're going to adjudicate. They're going to be an activist from the bench. We all know that. It's happening already with judges that are already on the bench now. Let's continue with Ted Cruz.
Senator, again, I can't speak to work that I did not do.
You can say whether you agree with it or not, correct?
I cannot speak to work, Senator Cruz, that I did not do.
Do you agree with the statement the Family Research Council is equivalent to the Ku Klux Klan or the Nazi Party? Yes or no?
I cannot speak to a statement wherein I played no role in the research or the writing
Why not?
or the publication because I didn't.
She can't do it because she's a retard. She's a stupid, idiotic, moronic retard, what I call the acronym SIMMER. It just simmers inside people, basically. Stupid, idiotic, moronic retard. She can't answer a simple question that a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old would be able to answer. Is the Family Research Council a white supremacist organization? Is it a hate group? The answer to that is absolutely not, Senator. But this idiot, this moron, this retard, this nominee can't do it at all. Won't want to do it. She doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to be pegged, because then she's going to get hit from, she's going to get people, okay, from the left and the progressives and everybody saying, why did you say that? How dare you? You should have gone up there and said, absolutely. Family Research Council, they are a hate group. They are bigoted. They are everything that they said that they were. All right? They're racist. They're a white supremacist group. Come on. That's what because she can't go against, the group that she's a part of, the far left fringe. There's no way she can do that.
Did not, Senator Cruz, respectfully.
I didn't ask if you did it. You went to work for them. Do you agree with them? You're refusing to answer that. Let's move on. What is a white supremacist?
Oh,
Senator, my general understanding is that a white supremacist is someone who hates people simply based on the color of their skin.
Okay, your current employer has labeled 3 members of this committee, myself, Senator Hawley, and Senator Blackburn, as white supremacists. Do you agree with that characterization?
Senator, I have never referred to you or any member of this committee
Has the
as
Southern
that
Poverty Law Center done so?
I'm not familiar with the exhaustive list of policymakers that might have been researched and profiled by another department within the organization that I'm
How many
not.
members of the United States Senate do you believe are white supremacists?
Senator, again, sitting here before you, I would not call any single member of Congress.
But you're proud to work for an organization that does.
I'm proud to do voting rights work on behalf of an organization that provides pro bono counsel to individuals, especially low-income individuals.
So let me ask you, how could anyone who is not on the radical left, how could someone who's pro-life, how could someone who's conservative, how can someone who's religious have any degree of confidence if they were to appear in a court with you as a judge? You've spent a lifetime working for groups that smear half this country as white supremacists and Klansmen. That is offensive. My dad came as an immigrant to this country from Cuba with nothing. That is hateful language. How could any litigant expect to get a fair shot if you were a judge, given your advocacy and history of extreme advocacy?
They're not going to.
Because, Senator Cruz, my father came to this country with nothing in his pocket as well.
But why don't you?
Well, whoop-de-doo. Then you know what? You should not be that far extreme. You should be able to be taking a look at that and say, you know what? I'm not going to be an activist judge. I'm going to follow the letter of the law, and I'm going to answer questions directly. And I will not work for companies that are racist, that are bigoted, that do promote hatred, which is what the Southern Poverty Law Center does every single day of its that's what they do every single day in every case. They are a hateful group, and they're liars, they're fraudsters, they're hacks, they're hucksters. That's what the Southern Poverty Law Center is. It's not an institution of law. It's an institution of fraud. It's an institution of deceit. It's an institution of illusion, of delusion.
Don't you give that grace to others?
I do, Senator. That's what my religious freedom, my free speech work, my voting rights work, my criminal justice work, Senator Cruz, all of that work that I've done represents my commitment to making sure that all people at least have equal access to justice and equal justice under law.
That's all BS. I mean, this is just absolutely unbelievable. I mean, even Ted Cruz here, you can tell he's just absolutely, he's just, you can just tell, look at his face over here. He is ticked off. He is pissed off. Oh, absolutely. I mean, he said it. There have been person after person after person, nominee after nominee after nominee coming through. Each of them far left zealots. And this happens to be one of, it's hard to pick. It's sort of like, which one is further left than the other? They're all basically sitting there on the far left, as extreme far left as possible with these views. And like he said, she's up for a judgeship. She's never been a judge before in her life, but she's been an activist as an attorney, as a prosecutor. And we expect that when she gets up and if she gets nominated, she's nominated for this position, if she gets confirmed, we're to expect that she's just going to put all that stuff beside that she's brought up with her, the baggage of being on the left, and that's just going to be put aside. And now she's going to be a judge and rule from the bench according to the law. We're supposed to believe that? Oh my God, if that you believe that, okay, I've got a bunch of land to sell. Really, really dirt cheap. Anyways, folks, I love doing these videos and bringing them out to you folks so you get an idea as to who these people are that are being nominated, what is going on with the state, with the deep state. This is all bureaucracy that's occurring. And then we're putting these judgeships up for lifetime positions. That's why it's so important. It is so important. When President Trump had like 150 judges that he put up there, that's going to far outlive his legacy. That's what we need to do. Conservative judges that are going to look at the letter of the law and not be an activist from the bench, be originalists in terms of interpreting the Constitution. That's what we're looking for in judges, not people like this, all right, that have their own demented, just their own leftist, progressive, Marxist, socialist, whatever you want to call it, left-leaning, woke, social justice warrior ideas. That's not what we want. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch the show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did making it. And you know what? If it's the first time here, you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel because you are watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I was your guest host today. My name is Dr. Nasir, and I'll leave you with my final thoughts, which is, when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.